If he's watching, like, I don't care. Like, this is a really weird story, and you should know how weird this is. Welcome back to the Crafting Never Stops podcast. This is going to be considered episode 2, but it's actually a continuation of conversation Denise and I started in part 1. So take a listen.
You know what? That picture makes me think of that sewing thing that goes around. That I don't know, have you seen it or what book it's from? But it's from like some super ancient book about like how to be a good wife or how to sew.
I think I have. Is it the one where it's like you need to look your best or something? Like,
whenever you sew, make sure you put on lipstick in case your husband comes home, and make sure your house is tidy. I forget what it's from, but definitely.
I feel like women in the 50s would look at us and be like, oh my gosh, like, what are these people doing?
Would they be mortified, or would they be like, you guys are awesome?
I think they would be mortified, because I think I would like to think that most of us are sewing not makeupless and wearing sweatpants, you know, like, I feel like the 50s housewives would like really like turn their noses up at particularly me. I don't know. They're like, wow. I don't know.
So what are you working on right now?
Funny. I am actually working. So I just finished a Dollhouse, which I just put up a video recently about that. It was one of those mini like Japanese style kits. It's a container home, and it was a lot of fun. I know this is kind of weird, but I'm like, and I have no kids. I'm really getting into the dollhouses thing. I don't know why. I don't know how, but it has happened, and I like it.
So they're doing DIY, right? Do you make the house and the furniture? Like you make everything?
Yeah, like everything comes in these like tiny gajillion pieces. So like even the little chairs or like the little nightstands or whatever else, they just come in pieces, and you have to glue everything together. And also the instructions are not in English. So they have pictures, and you have to try to be like, I think I'm doing this right. I definitely didn't do everything as they said, and I changed out some of the fixtures, but that was cool. And actually on the table, I know you can't really see this, but I'm working on a UFO quilt project from like 3 years ago. So a friend of mine from college is having a baby. So I decided to make, it's a boy. So the fabric actually works. It was originally supposed to be a quilt for my bed, but I never ended up finishing it. And it was going to be a huge quilt. I was like, yeah, screw this. So I think I'm just going to make them a quilt. But they're having a boy, and my friend and his husband, they live in New Jersey. This guy was like one of my first friends from college. And they're having a baby via a surrogate. So it's very exciting, and I know like I guess they've been wanting to do this for quite a while, but it's very cool because, just that people are, able to start a family this way. So I'm really excited. So I'm going to make them a quilt. And I also found a really cool, I know I shared this with you, but I discovered this really awesome kids pattern company called Misuzu Patterns or something. And we can link it below, but they had the cutest pattern for baby booties. It's not knitted, but sewn.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to make some baby booties out of matching fabric, which I think will be a fun project. I've got a couple other things I'm trying to work on. I've got a couple concepts in my head that I'm going to try to see if I can get together. And then I also bought another dollhouse kit. This is a bigger one that I'm going to try to maybe do a series for on the channel. Goodness. where I'm trying to put together and paint and build this dollhouse. So amazing. We'll see how that goes. People are going to be like, wow, she's weird. And that's okay. I mean, honestly, if you will follow the channel for any amount of time, you realize that's what it's about. So, I don't know. So yeah, it's having a lot of fun, and, I'm just hanging out with my cat every day, and, I don't know, talking to you. I don't know. I'm not in any fancy hotel, like that hotel room you're in looks super cool.
No, so, it's the Sutton place in your,
and don't they tape a lot of like movies and TV shows there? In Vancouver?
Yes, Vancouver was known as Hollywood North at one time. I think now Toronto might be, but yeah, there were tons. I don't know what the industry's doing.
How excited are you for Meghan Markle?
I'm so excited. Okay, so obviously,
because you and her are BFFs, right? Like,
We're both from Canada, so I know her. No. Yeah, Princess Kate, that whole business, I was all over that. And then as soon as the whole Meghan Markle thing, that was like extra special because she filmed Suits in Toronto for a
I
long time.
know.
Lived there for a
Have you
while.
seen Suits? It's really good.
I love it. It's so
Oh,
good. Yeah.
you know what though? I was reading some like Reddit. I was on a Reddit, subreddit about it, and people had a good point. They're like, I wish they would have combined Suits with White Collar,
Oh
the
yeah.
Netflix show, and put Neil with Harvey. I was like, that's a genius idea. It's such a good show, and I actually enjoy a lot of shows shot in Canada. I love Orphan Black.
Yeah, you were saying.
Have you ever run into any celebrities in Canada?
Probably. I don't know.
Like maybe you don't recognize. I mean, maybe you've seen Meghan Markle. She lived it. Maybe you saw Prince Harry out there. Who knows? I don't know. I would love to. I've met a few celebrities for my job, but a few times I passed celebrities or encountered them, but didn't know it was them.
Right.
One time I was at a mall in Buffalo, and R. Kelly was there, and I don't really know what he looks like, but I saw a bunch of teenage girls screaming, and then some shop owner was like, "That was R. Kelly," and I was like, and my first thought was, okay, that explains the tour bus I saw outside.
Was that pre-scandal or post-scandal?
This was it was he had already been known for doing some stuff, but it was before his latest scandal.
Right.
This was probably about 10 years ago. And then that guy I was telling you about, the one who was having a baby, he and I and some other friends were in New York City at that Serendipity Cafe. The one from the movie with like Kate Beckinsale and
I love that movie.
John Cusack.
Oh, yes.
So we went to the Serendipity. Yeah, we went to Serendipity, and it was awesome. Like, we got the frozen hot chocolate. So we were there, and apparently at the table next to us were Meryl Streep, Meg Ryan, and Carrie Fisher all sitting together.
Stop it.
But nobody again, I can see why. Again, if you're not looking for people, you're not going to be like, and I remember seeing some people at the table, but I don't remember seeing them.
Right.
So they left, and the waiter goes, "Hey, do you know who was sitting next to you?" And we're like, "No." And he pointed out, and we're like, "Oh my gosh." We're like, but you know what? I'm actually kind of glad we didn't recognize him, because you know what? I feel like celebrities more appreciate if you just give them some space.
Right. Yeah.
So if I ever did see a celebrity out in the wild, I don't think I would really like say anything,
Is there nobody who would be your one person who would like lose it over and like die for a selfie and like run over to them and act like a
I don't know if there's anybody, here, and I think it's because I did it for work. Like, I used to produce celebrity interviews, and we were just kind of taught not to really do that. Like, I would, the reporter I was working with, she would get a selfie for like social media, but that was part of like the job. But like the crew, I didn't normally ask people for selfies. I think I did it a couple times, and I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore.
Right.
Because you know what? I've got the memories of meeting these people, and I felt like, you know what? I feel like they would like it more and remember the experience with me more if I didn't do that.
Right.
So in my mind, I was like, you know what? They probably, like, if I ever saw a celebrity I really like, I would probably just be like if it was in a situation where you would say, I'd be like, "Hey, how are you doing?" But not be like, "Oh my God, I love your show." Like, I am a big Kristen Bell fan of Veronica Mars and like all the movies, and Hero. She was on Heroes, and now she's on The Good Place. So I'm a fan, but I wouldn't be like, I think if I saw her somewhere, I wouldn't I would really try not to like gush all over her or something. I don't know. What about you? Is there someone that you would like lose your mind over? Like, no?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm shameless. So I probably would go over and ask for a photo.
So yeah, I guess I don't. Like, I feel like if I was a celebrity, I would appreciate people like not doing that, I guess. I don't know. Like, who knows? I mean, it never really happened to me. So
yeah.
It could be, I could be the total opposite. Who knows? I don't know. But, okay. So I want to ask you, I came up with some random questions. Maybe All right. What is your favorite meal?
Meal. Oh my goodness. Okay, like general food. I'm gonna have lots of answers. So general food group, I would say breakfast foods. Love
Okay. If you were on death row and it was your last chance, like kind of thing.
like one meal.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Not
mom's.
that you'll ever be on death row, and I hopefully none of us will get there.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I love sushi. I love Chinese food. I love Cobb salad.
Good,
So
solid
many
choices
good-
there.
so many fattening ingredients all together and called a salad. I love Cobb salad.
All right, so Cobb salad would be your. I think
Sure.
mine would have to be sesame chicken.
Ooh.
Sesame chicken, like Chinese food. Like, oh,
Right.
that would probably be it.
But sesame chicken is kind of like white people Chinese food.
That it really is. Well, and that I think it's from
Like
growing up.
lemon chicken.
I grew up in like a suburb of Buffalo that was like 97% white.
Yeah, so it's not
So like
yeah.
that's the kind of Chinese food that I like grew up with, which is kind of sad.
The
But
breaded sesame chicken.
like it's like how we all order and in college everyone always ordered General So's.
Right.
You know, from this place, and it was like not even, like is General So's isn't really like real legit Chinese food either.
No,
but
but that one is good.
it
And I
is
think
really good.
it's Tao, isn't it? Isn't it pronounced Tao?
Tao, I'm not even sure. I'm probably doing it all wrong.
It's a different language. I'm sure it's pronounced completely differently.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I have no idea. Okay, another question. Do you remember your worst date ever?
Worst date.
Worst date ever?
I have been, I don't have one like this was a worst date, but I would say in general, anytime a guy didn't pay, that really stuck with me. And I still remember those dates and I will still tell people about those. Hey, there was this one time, this guy I don't know, call me old fashioned. And actually my husband hates it, but I made him pay forever. Like we went on so many dates and he gets mad at me because he's like, you didn't even do like the gesture.
Didn't even offer to like get your wallet out and be like, why don't we split it or something?
He said like, at least do the fake out where you reach for your purse. He was like, you would just like stare at the but I don't know. That's just how I feel. I feel like the man should always pay. So anyway, those were the ones that stuck out is like and I remember who didn't pay or who
Do you feel like dating should be kind of like old fashioned, like a little more like
I love that.
Like back. Yeah, I feel like dating now is so hard. Like I haven't dated in a long time, but I feel like even when I was dating, it was difficult. Like I don't know.
I remember one of my best friends, and she's been married for like 5 years. So this is going back 5 years. She said, if you invite a guy to your place for tea, she's like, that means sex. She's like, it doesn't mean tea. I'm like, what? But what if you actually want to have tea?
Yeah, and I feel like I was kind of dense like that too. Like I didn't understand like what certain things were supposed to mean.
Right.
So okay, I have a couple.
What's yours?
I've had some really bad dates. So one of them, I thought I was going on a date with a guy, and he's like, do you want to go out to dinner? And on the way there, he called and invited another guy. So I was like, okay, I guess it's not a date. Also, I found out later, like I had some really bad, I don't know where I was The weird thing is a lot of the really weird guys I met were all at church. So maybe that's not the greatest place. My husband thinks it's a great place to meet people. And I'm like, I had some really horrible. And I found out later the entire time I knew this guy, he was secretly dating someone. I'm like,
oh no.
I'm like, geez, man. Another time I kind of hung out with this guy that I met again at church. And it turned out he was like this, like, I don't know, he was kind of a straight. So for the date he took me to see the movie Bowling for Columbine. You know, that Michael Moore political movie, which is not like
but not a
date movie. And he kept telling like, it was just a very weird experience. The gist is that he kept arguing with me over like marijuana legalization and quoting Eminem like song lyrics. So that was a weird.
You have a good point when Eminem is your.
That was but one of I think the worst experiences dating. I had gone out on a few dates with this guy who was a weatherman, and I met him through church. I'm like, what the hell? Like, wait, all these people at church. again, I'm not saying church is bad, but and I went to a Christian college. So that's a story for another time. We'll get into that maybe in later podcasts. But I went on a few dates with this guy, and he'd asked me out. We lived in the same apartment complex, and we worked at competing TV stations, which, by the way, if you work in TV news, don't date someone from your TV station. In fact, don't date someone. Like, I know a lot of people in that business date each other and like marry each other. I found that's generally not good for me personally. So we'd gone out a few times, and I like wasn't sure what his deal was. Like, he was very odd. And if he's watching, like, I don't care. Like, this is a really weird story, and you should know how weird this is. So his deal was he had just gotten out of like an engagement or something with a much older woman. Ooh. And I don't know what the deal was with that, but and I don't want to reveal too much of his personal situation because some of this stuff is, a little bit, some of the details, are a little, I feel like a little more private, but he invited me to a Bible study at one point. So I went, and he was like 28 and I was like 22. And I hadn't really dated I only had like 3 boyfriends my entire life, and my third one was my husband. So he invited me to this Bible study, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. But the weird thing is, okay, so he's 28. Everyone in the Bible study is in college, which is kind of odd. Like, you're 28 and you're hanging out with all these college kids. Like shouldn't you be kind of past that at this point? And the Bible study leader was this woman. I would say she was in her 40s. I found out later that was his ex-girlfriend, which was a very weird, which is not the fiance, like a different. I was like, why would you invite a girl to a Bible study led by your ex-girlfriend? It was a very strange. I was like, this is real. Even at that age, I was pretty dumb as a 22-year-old, but even then I was like, this is really real. I was like, this is really kind of a strange thing. And I finally got the nerve to be like, what's happening here? And he said, to my face, I have a wandering eye, and there's other girls in my social circle I'd like to ask out.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, at that point, I was at least smart enough to say, I don't think I really wanted to hang out with you anymore. So after that, like, which was kind of awkward. We lived in the same apartment complex. I think he might still be single. Like, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. I don't think it's worked out for him yet. And crazy enough, like in my last job, I had to work on a lot of packages from stations, and I think I got a couple that were his. I was like, this is kind of awkward. I was like, okay. Yeah. So he's still out there somewhere. I don't know. But like, to say that I'm like, I mean, at one point I kind of appreciate the honesty, but on the other hand, I'm like, dude, like that's like the wrong, like,
shooting yourself in the foot.
Like, yeah, you need to lie. Like, not that you should lie.
Right.
You're smart at all.
Girlfriend, you keep that on
you don't freaking see. I had a pretty bad track record before that. I'm very glad not to be dating and single now. Yeah, I don't know. So
quick tangent. I know this is all like our whole talk has been different tangents, but it made me think when you said about the wandering eye. So last night, because I'm in the hotel room, I'm watching hotel TV, ended up watching like 600 Pound Life. Which other one? Seeking Sister Wife. Have you heard of that?
Oh, wait, is that the one with Cody Brown? I've seen some of the, wait, there's a different one?
Wives.
Oh, geez.
This one is called Seeking Sister Wives. So it's couples or like multiple, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a polygamous family.
Polygamy, yeah, I have no idea.
New wives. So they're actively searching for an additional wife. There's this one couple, they're only 2 right now, and they are dating women to try and add a sister wife. The guy they meet as a couple. I think they're I think they do like an online chat or something like that. And then the guy, so it's the couple sitting and the girl kind of getting an interview. And then the husband says, okay, I'm going to go on my he called it a one-on-one date. He went on the one-on-one date with the girl. This girl, so it's a married couple. The woman's pregnant. The husband goes on a date with a girl who's 22 or 24. comes back. This is all on camera. They decided as a couple, the married couple, they decided, even though they're adding a sister wife, there would not be intimacy until there was full commitment between everybody. The husband
what did he do?
slept with her. And he said,
and she's pregnant. Oh, geez.
The wife is pregnant and he slept with a 22-year-old. I was like, buddy, you just.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Like that. Like, I know
that's cheating. I know you're trying to do this under the guise of looking for.
Totally.
What was the wife's reaction?
Well, I wasn't sure if it was edited. She looked surprised and pissed, but I'm like, I don't know if did they already.
It's like, damn straight, I'd be pissed too.
It was crazy.
What would you do if your husband approached you and said that he wanted a second wife?
I think my reaction was even worse than the wife. I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, you just cheated on your wife. I can't believe you did that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't know if that. Yeah, that would be a big no way for me, right?
Like I get that people have different ways of living, but yeah, that's cheating. Like at that point, that's not.
End of the relationship.
Did it end up going anywhere with the 22-year-old?
I don't know. I have to watch next week.
And that's the thing. Like, if it doesn't work out, then he just cheated on her, and she's not even like
22. I'm really.
That's a one-night stand. Like, that's not. That's
sorry.
just
That's me. I thought I quit. I quit all my.
We're having too much fun here. Like, that's crazy. I don't think I could be cool. Like, I would never be cool in that situation.
No.
Like, for the sister wife thing, like.
And then and your husband goes out on a date with the girl and comes back and is like,
and I'm a little bit of a jealous person, like in that, like I don't know. That's, yeah. Well, my husband, he doesn't even watch shows with adultery in it. It really bothers him. Like, neither of us talk about exes. Like, it's just one of those things where, like,
that's good.
Yeah, we don't do that. Like, it's just very, very odd. But yeah, like, I think if he came home and was like, I'm looking for a new wife, I'd be like, well, you're going to only have one because, yeah, I'm leaving, man.
Yeah.
Wow. So he slept with her and then she's pregnant. Wow. I can't.
Yeah.
That's insane. We don't even have cable anymore. So my whole,
you're missing out.
I watch shows is by like, if they put the episode online.
Right.
Or I wait a while and see if it comes out on like Netflix or Amazon Prime.
Right.
Like Suits is on now. But they don't have season 7, so I've not seen the season. I've not seen season 7. But there's so much out there. Like, I feel like even though I worked at a cable network, I don't feel like I'm missing out at this point because there's just so much stuff. Like, I feel overwhelmed by the amount of options now. I'm like, I just can't handle this. Like,
there is a lot, and I do feel like I feel like I'm living as a caveman by the fact that I still have cable, but I just can't deal away with news. We have a 24-hour news channel that we keep on TV all the time, and it's just always on. And
do you watch it? Do you watch CBC or CTV? Are those one of the two?
Well, it's called
a different one.
24. So
yes, I've heard of 24. Okay.
Yeah, it was so awesome. So they split up the screen. I'll kind of draw it out, but they split up the screen, and basically in like this corner, they'll have the news and event and like your newscasters and stuff and interviews and stuff. And then over here they have like weather. Down here they have traffic. Down here they have sports. And it's just like information. And then
so you can see everything at one time. Okay, that's interesting.
And then like breaking headlines will like pop up every time that like they'll kind of cycle through headlines all the time. So it's always on in our house, and like we can hear about what's going on, like look and see, and I don't know, we love it. I just can't imagine.
Cool. Hey, you're probably their ideal viewer. It's like we want viewers that have the TV on all the time. You're helping out their ratings probably. So that's.
Do they still do that? I remember when I was a kid in the 80s, we used to like get quarters for like recording our TV.
I think they do metered. Like I remember when I was starting out, some markets do metered marketing where it's like tracked by their box or whatever.
Okay.
But a few markets still did diary markets where it was like you had to write things down. And those aren't reliable because people a lot of people are not like truthful about like what they're actually watching, or they'll be like, or people get confused too. Like some of the numbers are like, they'll think they're watching channel 9, but they're really watching channel 11.
Yeah.
Because some of these channels, it'll be channel 9 branding, but it's actually on channel 14 or something.
Right.
So people just kind of get confused about like what it is. Like when I was working at TV stations, I would get calls meant for other stations all the time, and they would think they were calling channel 7, but they were calling channel 14. Like, I know people just get, I guess it's too much for them to handle. I don't know. Or be like, you didn't have this story about the robbery. It's like, well, we did. They're like, oh, never mind. Like, I'm serious.
Calls as for when I was an editor, I would get calls, and I remember this as a junior editor because I was the girl who had to answer the phone.
Oh, geez.
People would call in and complain about advertising content. So if there was an ad, like let's say Victoria's Secret, we didn't have Victoria's Secret in Canada at the time, but like our version of it, there was a Victoria's Secret ad of like lingerie. I would get
too racy, huh?
People who were irate about this story that was on page such and such. I'm like, we don't have a page such and such of the magazine. I have to pull it out, flip it open. I'd be like, oh, that's an advertisement. Like, we actually don't control that content. They'd be so mad.
Yeah,
so
it's
mad.
like, well, it's like, you know what, they
yelled at on the phone.
People, you know what, it's like, if you don't like it, you vote with your pocketbook. Like, don't buy.
Yes.
You know, it's like, don't buy the magazine if you don't like what's
strips. People would complain about the perfume, like the open. They'd be like, I don't want a scented magazine. Like, how can you do that? I'm
like, what the hell? It's a magazine, people. What do you expect? It's full of perfume samples and ads. That's how they pay for the magazine.
Totally.
That's crazy.
Okay, I have another question about TV monitoring, just because I'm always wondering this, and you're the perfect person to answer. So if I record a program on my recorder, and then does that get the points for my viewership?
You know, I think they're starting to do that. Like I noticed, now, like I've noticed some TV viewership ratings will say viewership within 1 day of airing or something. Okay. So I do feel like, and also they track the online stuff because again, now you can log into like ABC or NBC and watch shows. Like, that's what I do now. Although a lot of them are like locked now that I'm, you know, we might get HBO, like now that you can get the cable networks like a la carte, we might get HBO when there's some new shows coming back. We want to watch Westworld. We want to watch Game of Thrones. So, but like there's so much time in between seasons. Like, we're like, it'll be another year before we really have to like get HBO again.
Right, yeah.
Because Game of Thrones is not going to be until like 2019 or something. So I know they're really drawing out some of these like hiatuses. It's like, do you really have to, you know, have it be that long? Like,
maybe it just gives everybody else a chance to watch the whole thing. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I'm just like, but like people are going to forget about the show by that time, and there's going to be new stuff on, and you know, I don't know. It's just the state of TV and entertainment is just fascinating to me, and also the fact that podcasts are so popular right now too, because everyone's in the car, you know, going somewhere and trying to listen to something.
Yeah.
You know, it's just I think there's just so many options. Again, we're providing yet another option. So I guess we're not really helping the problem, but you know what, whatever. You know, we've got something to say. We've got we've got microphones and a free recording program. So we're here.
I know. I just ordered my new microphone. It arrived in my hotel. I got to my hotel yesterday and my Amazon Prime package was there with microphone.
I didn't know you could get stuff delivered to hotels like that. How do you do that?
Yeah, so I guess they're just used to it a lot of times because of conventions and stuff. So what I do is I put my name and then I put brackets hotel guest. And then sometimes I'll call the hotel beforehand. I'm assuming they must have some kind of x-ray scanning something or other to make sure
it's not like something questionable. Have any of the hotels ever given you a problem, or are they all like, that's cool? Like,
no, sometimes like the last time I was in Houston recently for the quilt festival, and they had an entire FedEx department on like within the hotel. They were like our FedEx room, and it had all these things, and they were like, oh yeah, we get the package.
So if you were shipping sewing machines, you could do that versus checking them on a plane or something. If you wanted to, you could do you do that ever? Like if you have like a lot of bulky stuff?
Yeah, I don't, only because I feel like I want it with me. Although there's still a risk, right?
You know what? Okay. All right. Here's a challenge for you, Denise. I just came up with this idea.
Okay.
I would like to see you try to sew on a plane and vlog it. Like one of those like tiny, you know have you ever seen those tiny mini sewing machines, like the white and purple?
I have one. Yes.
I think you should get one of those. try to sew on the plane and see what people's reaction to it are.
I love that.
That would be like,
I'll do it
like the most awesome thing ever.
As soon as I board, get like an aisle seat and like I'll be the first one on the plane, and that way everybody who walks by me will be like,
they'll be like, what is she doing? And then and you know what? I feel like that would be a good way to try to educate, like, because everyone would, it's a good conversation starter.
And then I'll hand out flyers for our podcast.
Yeah. Yes, hand out. You've come up with our whole marketing plan.
That's the marketing plan.
Wearing a t-shirt with whatever the podcast name is, and like the website or whatever, whatever we
still don't know it, but yes, we'll make it.
Call it. Maybe it'll be Crazy Crafters. I don't know. But that would be like a really good way, at least, to get people to ask you about sewing. You're stuck in a plane for, 3 or 4 hours or something. Okay, so that would be an awesome, I think, YouTube video for you. Would be like, I tried, like, maybe the title could be like, look what happened when I tried to sew on a plane or something. And then maybe if people were open to it, you could kind of interview them, be like, like, hey, what did you think? What did you think when you saw me doing this? Or like,
I have to
that'd be kind of fun.
I actually did take a serger as a carry-on on an airplane because I was giving it to my sister when I saw it. This was within the last year. And I wasn't sure because there's a blade on a serger. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And like, are they going to make me plug it in so they can see what it is? And I literally just had it, like, I think I had a plastic bag around it, but then I just held it at the top and then went through the machine, like the x-ray machine. And they pulled me over to the side. I'm like, okay, here we go. Like, what's going to happen? And the guy was like, oh, this is for sewing.
Did he know what it was? Or
yeah, he was a young guy. He was like, oh, this is for sewing. I'm like, it is. I'm like, it's actually called a serger. It does. And I pull out my shirt. I'm like, the inside of your t-shirt, like it does that zigzag. It's a special machine. And he was like, oh, cool. Okay, bye. So I went.
Yeah, he probably didn't even know there was a blade on it. So
no, but I feel like, well, I guess the whole interior is metal. I was surprised. I thought that for sure I wouldn't be able to
I guess if you were crafty enough, you could figure out how to make that into a weapon. Not that we want to we are not condoning any of that.
Use a sewing machine.
Like that, yeah, I would. I'm with you. Like I can kind of see like how they would maybe think there was something up. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting though. I think when most people see that, I don't think people know the difference between like a sewing machine and a serger. And people like don't really know. Like I had someone ask me questions. They bought a serger, but they didn't own a sewing machine. And they were asking me what I could make. And I was like, hey, a lot of people that have this have a sewing machine too.
Right.
Because you need different things, but they didn't really get that. They're like, this looked really useful. I was like, you can do a lot of things with it, but there are some limitations to it as well, but that's funny. But I would like to see you get one of those mini sewing machines, take it on a plane, sew on a flight and see like what happens. And yeah, that's the whole marketing plan for this podcast, Denise.
Yes, you know what? Maybe I'll do little giveaways. I'll do like little pouches and then I'll just like start whipping them down the aisles.
All right, so you'll be doing that on a plane. I need to think of a location I can do that as well. Maybe like at outside of Walmart or something. I don't know.
No, your janky gas station.
Yeah, I'll go out to the gas station and be sewing. I might get mugged or something.
Hot dog holders. Hot dog holders.
After I get robbed at gunpoint or something. That'll be, I'll stick to hopefully the good air. Although my husband did go to a gas station one night and it was like 1 a.m. or something. And he got, in like the span of 3 minutes, he was approached by several very questionable people who asked him for money, solicitation for prostitution, and if they could get a ride. All from 3 different people. He said no. Clearly, he's like, if I'd given that dude a ride, he's like, I would have ended up dead, which is probably 100% accurate. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes things happen. That's why you got to be smart and not give strangers, just say no to hitchhiking. This is not the 70s.
Yeah.
And that's funny because my stepdad was telling me he hitchhiked like back. I was like, you couldn't do that now. Like, it's so dangerous. Like you don't pick up hitchhikers and you don't be a hitchhiker. Like either way, it's not a good idea.
When I was a teenager, we did it a little bit.
Really? Did it work? Or?
Old lady. Yeah, it totally worked.
Yeah.
This was around Vancouver.
Not scary people or
Vancouver.
anything. Like, wow, you're such a you're really living dangerously there.
As a young teenage girl, do not do that.
Yeah, dude, you're gonna tell your daughter not to do any of those things.
Do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so let's think of a good sewing way to wrap this up, or craft way. I also have to go to the bathroom.
All right. Yes, favorite bathroom story, worst bathroom, no. I don't know. That has nothing to do with sewing, clearly.
Sewing. Okay, let's deserted island. Like if you could take 3 sewing things to a desert island, not for purposes of like, I don't know. Just
not for survival purposes, but like more for your own personal fun.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do we already have the sewing machine, or is that included as one of the?
I think that's your number 1.
Okay, yeah, obviously a sewing machine. Oh man. I would say I would do a sewing machine, scissors. Let's see here. Scissors and fabric. I could probably make thread out of stuff I found on the island.
Ooh.
So I think I could figure, like get one of those fibrous plants. So I think I would forego thread because I think I could DIY that.
Okay, I like that.
And scissors, because obviously we would need that for stuff. And I could use the scissors could also double as a self-defense tool as well. So, and a sewing machine too, if you wanted to like clunk somebody over the head. So, if there's some dangerous pirates or something on the island.
Yes.
I'm really thinking here. What about you?
That's a dangerous island. I was thinking
it is.
more like coconuts.
I mean, you don't know what you can find, or maybe there's like some bears there or something. I'm thinking about the show Lost now, and all
totally.
that.
Lost was so good until it was horrible. Hey.
Yeah, until you're like, what is happening at the end? I don't know.
It was so good and then so bad.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, I'm gonna go different. I'm gonna take a sewing gauge. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
If anybody doesn't know what a sewing gauge is, it's like a hard ruler, and it's just such a handy measuring tool. So I'll take that. What else? A stitch ripper. I feel like that will come in handy for various things. And then
a hunting implement too.
For when I need to eat.
We're multitasking here. Yeah, fishing. It would be great for fishing actually.
Okay, so a sewing gauge, a stitch ripper, and something good. A spool of thread. I don't know.
Okay, so you're gonna do some hand sewing there.
Yeah.
I just had a thought though. I would have nowhere to plug the sewing machine in, so maybe I need to rethink that. I don't know.
Yes. But it's your weapon.
Is there electricity on the island? That's the question. Probably not.
We're going to the Caribbean with this. We're not going to the lost.
Not dangerous not the lost island that's like stuck in time or something. I don't.
We'll come up with better answers next time.
Yeah, well, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we've been doing this. We're going to hopefully try to do this every once in a while and share it with everybody. If anyone wants to watch this or listen to this, hopefully share. Yes.
Please listen.
Share.
Like everything. I don't know. What do you do? Subscribe.
Like, download the podcast. I don't know what you do. Hopefully we can figure out how to get this onto all these platforms. So hopefully if you are seeing this on a platform like iTunes or SoundCloud, that means this worked.
We
figured it out. So,
and then let us know. So let us know on social what you guys want to see. I'm at Denise Wild, and Jennifer is at Sewing Report. So let us know what kind of questions you have, what you want us to talk about, and we'll try to mix things up. We'll do different tricks, techniques, projects.
Maybe we can have some guests on here if anyone's listening to this thing.
Anyone, viewer, guest. Yeah, that would be fun. Okay.
Awesome. Well, I had a great time. Thank you so much, Denise.
You too. This was awesome.